Nikki, how you doing? So today I want to talk about something which may resonate with lots of you. I feel personally that I am going through a big, stretchy growth phase. There's lots of things happening in my business which are really exciting, but they are testing me every step of the way. Equally in my personal life as well, there's some big things going on as well. And even though I'm like, no, I want to stay in my comfort zone, don't make me do it, I'm having to, because I'm in that stretchy moment. And if I'm saying all these things that I want to be, do and have, and then they're presented to me, it's the equivalent of somebody going, come on then, if you think you're hard enough. That's sort of what the universe is doing to me at the moment. Like, you want it? Yeah? You want it? You're serious? Are you? Come on then. And I feel like I've asked for things or I've put stuff out there and it's coming back to me, and then it's suddenly terrifying me. And I wanted to backtrack a little bit, and I wanted to share quite a bad habit of mine. And I'm going to call it a habit. I'm going to call it a limiting belief, because I want it to be actually separate from me and not part of my personality. So I am somebody who over the years has been really hard on myself. I've always been somebody who's gone, oh, you could have done that better, or you messed up there, or why didn't you do that perfectly, or why are you learning that lesson again, or why are you going out with another dickhead because didn't you learn your lesson last time? And I've been really quite cruel with myself and not as loving as I should have been. And I've noticed that also in my business as well. When I haven't done things absolutely perfectly, or maybe I haven't made the growth that I wanted to do, or just had that very human experience of figuring it out. And I think sometimes it's that sense of like, it's a lack mentality. And I'm aware of it sometimes, because I have to ground myself in the fact, like, you're doing it. Come on, kid. And would I ever speak to one of my children like this? Absolutely no flipping way. Would I say, could have done that better? Or why are you falling off your bike? Why have you done, like, no, I would not do that. Anyway, I want to give you 5 points today, things that have been on my heart that I would love to share with you. And I've been doing a bit of journaling around this topic. And here's what's coming up. Okay, number 1, nobody told me. And they probably didn't tell you either. Remember when we were at school in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 2000s, I can't do my maths. Did anyone ever say, and I'm going to use my own name in this example, Nikki Raby, I cannot wait to see the biggest, brightest, best version of you. I am backing you all the way. I love that you are ambitious, tenacious, determined. I cannot wait to see you blossom into a successful woman. No, they didn't. Instead, what was presented was, yeah, all right, love, but don't get too big for your boots. I mean, you know, you could have a good career, but you're probably not going to have a family, or you're probably not going to have love in your life, or you're probably all of these things. Because that conversation at the time was about either or. And actually, ambition, that conversation was something that was a bit more shameful. And certainly in my school, it was much cooler to mess about. And mess about at the back of the class and not do the work, not do the thing, not say what you wanted, and just to make do. Now, I know there's all kinds of layers into that, but that was the culture that I was growing in. So that and those limiting beliefs, alongside me going, I think I could do this, or I feel like I really am drawn in this kind of way, the two have come up against each other. And they've created some heat sometimes, and equally they've gone, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. So if you're struggling at any point of this, going, yeah, but nobody in my family's done this, I'm doubting myself, or I'm really tired, it's probably not all inclusively, but there might be something underneath all this going, oh yeah, Well, no wonder I'm finding it hard, because I haven't had a role model. I haven't had a blueprint, or, I don't want to be sitting on my own on a seat on the bus at the front because nobody wants to talk to me or be my friend. All of these things are ingrained in who we are and what we believe about ourselves. Number 2, you have to do it. So in terms of moving forward with your business, your brand, your life, you have to do it. And it will be interesting, especially with my children going forward, of whether they will watch me or whether they'll listen to me or what they'll do. But I always come back to this phrase of, you can't drive a parked car. It's that moment, isn't it, where you might have learned, like I did at 17, like, I'm gonna drive a car. Yeah, great, brilliant. I can't wait to have lessons. And I remember that first lesson going, actually, it's much harder than, and I was like, I'm coordinated, I'm a dancer, I can do this. Actually, no. And it was much more of a process of going, okay, I'm going to have to ease up here. And until you're in that car, and I always think this when you pass your driving test, until you're on the motorway in roadworks and you feel like you're going to break down and you need a wee, I don't feel like you quite know what it is to be a driver at that stage. And that's what it's like in terms of your business as well. You can't drive a parked car. You can't move forward in your business unless you do it. You can philosophize about it. You can write notes. You can write task lists. You can chat about it with a friend. But unless you do it, you're not going to be able to make the moves that you do. So you have to do it. And when you do something, you're going to make mistakes because it's part of the human experience. There's definitely, if we go back to that analogy of you can't drive a parked car, you can't drive a parked car, you are going to make mistakes because you're going to hit the curb sometimes and go, oh gosh, that felt painful, but you're in the game doing it. Number 3, by consistently doing something, you will find your way. And I know everybody wants to do the overnight success thing of like, I just did these 3 things. Oh my God, I've had the biggest launch I've ever had. And I literally started my business 43 minutes ago. Consistency is absolutely going to serve you. That breadth, that space to be able to grow. Because when you're in that, you're going to be able to find your way. You're going to be able to tune in to what feels good. So, for example, with my acting career, I've been doing this 30 years and I've had that space to go, not doing that again. That doesn't feel good. Or I need this kind of prep. I'm not somebody who can do X, Y, and Z. I know myself very well. So once you're in that place of consistency, you will find your way. Number 4, when you find your way and it feels good, when it feels good, you'll be able to do more of it. And it's that moment where suddenly, whether you start running or I'm going to use kind of movement or a yoga pose that you've been fighting for ages where you're like, why does my knee do something else? Why is my elbow sticking out? Why is this feeling a bit janky for me? And then suddenly, and this is when you get a good teacher sometimes. So I always want to kind of pull up my hamstrings and like pull my knee right back in. I mean, it's probably desperately unhealthy, but because I used to dance as a kid, I have that kind of moment that I should feel like I should do that. And a yoga teacher, if they see me doing that, they're like, just bend your front knee, love. Just bend it. Just move your foot a bit in. And then that's the moment where you're like, oh, okay, that feels good. So when you're doing that in your business or your brand, when you get to that point where you're like, oh, this feels good. Oh, this feels better. Oh, I'm not going to do that again because it doesn't feel good. You can keep coming back to this and you can start to build that rhythm for yourself, those new baselines, those new foundations. And number 5, and this is going to be the most powerful bit of your work as well. You will be then able to share your knowledge. Our children will have it differently. Our next generations, I see it in the way that my 5-year-old son is taught. He's taught in a very, very different way to what I was. He's seeing something. He's seeing everything around him. Emphasis on mental health, of inclusion, of speaking straight, of kindness. There's all kinds of different value systems. And so I hope in my small way, in my little family, that I'm creating that ripple effect. And you too will as well be able to do that within your network, within your friends, how you show up on here, the conversations you have in the pub, how you help somebody in a shop who can't carry their basket, and then they go, oh, what do you do? And that kind of conversation. So go to where you can find that strength, that foundation. Go back to step number 4 and think, what do I know? What do I need? How can I create that rhythm? Because once you know that information about yourself, it's so invaluable. And whenever you need it, it's almost like going back to almost like an old favorite, an old cooking recipe. Sometimes I have that moment, I've got a really big kind of extended family, and then I do these moments where I'll have a couple of glasses of wine. I'm like, you should come for dinner. Why don't you come for dinner? And then suddenly I've got 10 people around my kitchen table, and I am looking for those go-tos, those safe bets for myself, going, right, I'm just going to do a really big curry because I can cook a big bulk of it and it will be all fine and it will cook on the stove while I'm having a conversation. You want to have those things in your business, really recognizing what are the things that work. How can you do more of that? I know there is this pressure to reinvent the wheel, be here, there and everywhere. Oh, I'm going to go over here. I should do this. Should I be on TikTok? Should I create more? Like all of the things. Go back to what works and build on that first. Because when you do that and you build on what works, it's almost like that comforting, like, you're all right, you're all right. Like when a dinner lady used to pick you up when you fell over in the playground. And suddenly if they're a bit calm with you and they go, it's all right, just take it easy. Do you want to come and sit on the bench? We have to do that with ourselves in business sometimes, because we are all making mistakes. We are getting it wrong. We are experimenting. We are giving it a go. We are getting back up. We are saying, yeah, I'm ready for more, even when we're a bit scared and the universe is doing the come on over here if you think you're hard enough, etc. I hope you've taken something from this today. If you have, please let me know what that was. I will also share it as a podcast as well. It was just on my heart today. It was in my journal and I just wanted to share it. And hopefully you will take something from this and you'll do something with it, or it will plant a seed. I'm really excited to see what those ripples are. All right, I'm sending lots of love and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.